I'm so okay. We're recording. I'm okay with that. Okay, I am
Hold on,
so
Dana.
excited.
Am I the only one who can't hear her?
Oh shoot. Can you guys
Okay,
hear me?
maybe it's just me.
I can hear you, Dana.
Okay. Want me to keep going? Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep going. Hold on, let me see what Brooke's saying here. Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just get started, but if she says differently. Okay, so I am super excited. That won't affect everybody though. Do you think it will? Is she running this? She can assign a host if she logs off. Right? We're good. We thinking that's what she can do. Oh, you can hear me now? Okay, I was trying to decide what I was gonna do. Okay. Okay, I am super excited. I just told Aaron he couldn't distract me, and now you threw me off. No, I'm just joking. No, you're good. I'll be honest with you guys. I needed the preparation for this call to also get excited for this year. My team just hit a huge goal, which was really exciting. But if you're anything like me and you like to achieve big goals, you kind of can have this like immediate, like, oh, okay, like now what? Like I couldn't even think about what to do next. And so going through the plans for this call with the ladies and my part just was huge for getting back on track for what I want for this year. Okay, so the first part of this call is I'm going to talk about vision casting, and we're kind of breaking this down in tonight to kind of three parts of casting that vision of what you want your day to look like, and then how do you find your why within that, and then setting some goals to go along with it. So just to kind of give you the framework, we really condensed this for you guys. I mean, just or streamlined it, I want to say, to help you guys best with casting your goals and visions and all those things. I kind of want to start a little different than I normally do. I was thinking about this today, and for all of my life, other than the last 2 years, I lived a very just like go with the flow life. I kind of lived what I would say like a cookie cutter, what was expected of me with the going to college, getting married. And these are not bad things, might I add. Getting a full-time job. And then I wanted to stay home. So I stayed home because I wanted to do that. And my husband worked 2 jobs, and I just always was like, well, then I'm going to have to go get a job. And we just like lived in this life of like life controlling us, and not really what we wanted out of life. I mean, life was good most of the time, but at the same time, because we just kind of let life take us and not really like any goals or anything like that. Or we had goals, like when Aaron wanted to farm full time, but we had never like stepped back and thought about like how we could actually make that our reality. We just allowed things to happen. And for me, by living that way, I really got emotional thinking about this today. I thought about how I felt 2 years ago before I was really all in with coaching. I felt discontent. I felt wandering. I felt lost. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I felt greed because I wanted things. I wanted big things. I wanted money. I wanted all this stuff. And I felt greedy because but I couldn't make it happen, which also led to feelings of comparison and coveting people and just a lot of really negative emotions. A lot of them I prayed about and I felt at that time. And like looking back on that now, today, I was like, wow. The thing that changed that for me was creating visions, establishing my why, and setting goals. And I can say that 110%, and doing that in a prayerful way. And so that's why I'm so passionate. And I can see that even clearer now, 2 years into this vision casting idea, of how it has impacted my life so greatly. But you got to remember at the end, you can't just cast the visions, you have to take the action. So the first thing that we're going to do is kind of that idea of, sorry, I have notes to keep myself on track, so I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. We're going to talk about like, to get started with that vision of what our ideal day looks like. And I know a lot of you guys have done this activity before, but maybe some of you haven't. And so for the purpose of this activity, I'm going to kind of share with you what I would want my ideal day to look like. And when you're thinking about yours, I want you to think about money is not a limit. Time is not a limit. Education is not a limit. really just take all limits aside. Okay. So any fears, anything that holds you back, which I'm a realist, so this can be really difficult for some. But honestly, for my ideal day, I heard on a training one time that sometimes it's not necessarily better. It's just one way to do it is to think about your ideal day as just an average Tuesday. What do you want that average Tuesday to look like? So I'm going to walk you guys through my ideal, somewhat limitless ideal Tuesday. And then as I'm doing this though, I want you guys to think about what yours looks like and think about the details that I add in about like maybe what I'm driving, who I'm surrounding myself with, where I live. I'm not going to go into so much details like what I'm wearing and things like that. But when you do this activity, you can go as deep and as far as you want. And I do encourage that you do that. So my ideal day is a Tuesday and my alarm goes off at 5 a.m. because ideally I am a morning person like that. And I go and I get my hot cup of coffee out of the kitchen because ideally I go to bed early and prep my coffee the night before. And I grab that cup of coffee and I take that into my spot in the living room. And if you've heard my vision before, I challenge you to find areas of this ideal day that are my reality now. So I take that hot cup of coffee into that special seat in my living room where I can see the sunrise, and I start my day every morning with time with Jesus. And it's early enough that I'm able then to get my Energize ready, and whether myself or Aaron, actually I decided today, my ideal day is in May because my kids are still in school, planting is over, and we haven't started doing hay yet. That's my ideal day, Tuesday in May. And so we get our workout done, you know, whether it be in the garage because it's May and it's starting to feel warm, so we can open our 2-car garage door and the sun is rising and it is just awesome. And by the time we're done, we're able to go and get our kids up, and it is not stressed and it is not rushed. He's not having to get ready for school and me packing his lunch and checking what hot lunch is for the day, because I'm a horrible planner about that for my kids. It's just relaxed. And I will be honest right now, a lot of times that's how it feels for us. And we get the kids ready and he takes them off to school. And I'm able to spend my morning working this business that truly fulfills me. I'm able to spend on my vision. I'm as specific as hours of my day, 8:30 to 12:30 is what I've said. And I'm able to spend part of that time with my customers, like an hour with my customers, an hour with like expanding, building my business and my customers, and an hour with my team and equipping and helping them and one-on-one calls. And that time is able to be done specifically in 2 spots, my office in my house or my coffee shop, because I know that that's where I'm productive. That's where I love to spend my time and where I feel efficient in my work. And then my afternoons are for what I choose. But since this is my ideal day, my husband and I are going to go on a day date because he is no longer a teacher, which for real, he's not, but, and you know, planting's over and we're not baling hay yet. So we are going to go on a lunch date. And then I spend my afternoon, maybe prepping dinner or doing laundry or just things around the house, so that when I go get my kids and bring them home, we are calm and it is again, relaxed, and we have that downtime. We're able to have dinner, take them off to their activities. I don't have those feelings of just like franticness. I've worked full time. It's been several years, but I remember that feeling. And I knew when I stayed home, I never wanted that feeling for me and my family again. And that's kind of what led me to this vision, I guess, in the beginning, was I didn't want to have to go back to work if he left teaching. I didn't want that for our family. I wanted to be able to be home all the time. And so then I forgot I was going to add my cars, because when I don't have my kids, I'm driving like this cute little Subaru. But then when I go pick my kids up, I'm driving my Suburban. So I like have 2 cars in my ideal day. I've just recently added that one. So I go pick the kids up, we bring them home, and we have dinner and activities and devotion. And again, it's just not stress. And it's just everything is smooth, and it's not perfect, but it's just our day is really on our time and how we choose to spend it. So that's kind of now I gotta go back to my notes. So that's my ideal day. And that's something that I have created a couple years ago, and it has evolved over time for me. Now, what I encourage you to do with this is go and make your own ideal day. Don't take my day and make it yours. You have to really stop and think about what you want yours to look like, and then write it down or type it out. Because if you're not able to refer back to it, then you're going to forget. Because we're going to now pass it off here in a second to Brooke and then Brooke, and they're going to talk about finding your why. Like, why did I choose all those things? You know, like I'm going to let her elaborate more on your why, but I put those things that I put into my day. Okay, maybe somewhere I don't need 2 cars, but you know, my corporate mentor today told me that you can need anything you want to need. So, why did I put some of those things in there? Because they're important to me. And so this is where it starts. And I believe heavily that on the days that I show up and I don't want to do the actions that are more specific, maybe to my daily goals that get me to this daily vision, going back and reading this, I used to read this every single day, and I have a condensed version of it. And I really need to get back in the habit. I could probably spit it off verbatim, but I'm not going to do that right now. Because on those days that you don't want to show up, if you go back and you read this day and you truly, truly did it in a way that is meaningful to you, you will still show up. I promise you. So I am going to hand it off to Brooke C, and she's going to talk about finding your why. Were we going to do slides? Was I supposed to have slides? No, I didn't need slides for that. I couldn't remember what we were doing. Okay, go ahead, Brookie.
I think you're good. Are we gonna pull it up though now? Brooke A. Anderson, or should we just keep rolling?
I can pull up really for you, I just have that one slide of the castle. Do you want me to pull that up now?
Sure, I like it, but yeah, I can just start chatting away. I love that. And now, Dana, we're all thinking about May and not January. In the chat, everyone is like dreaming of weather, except I saw somebody lives in Arizona. Coles, is that Nicole? Message me after this so I can come visit you, because it is so cold here in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh. And everywhere in the Midwest, I'm sure. Okay, so I see so many people on here. This gets me so excited. Love big calls. My name is Brooke Chicola, for those of you that haven't met me yet. And for those of you that are on my team, hi. So we are going to talk about creating your why. And I love that some of you are talking in the chat just about envisioning your day. And then there was a question that came up about, well, what if I can't really picture my ideal day? And first off, I think this is pretty normal, especially for a lot of us. And I have my master's in social work. So before this, I was a school social worker. So I did work full time. My kids were little. My husband's a cop. So I did the hustle and bustle and shuffle for a while. And I think back all the time, because I'm going on to year 3 of coaching. And this is my 2nd year of doing this full time at home. Definitely quit my job prematurely, but by the grace of God, I think he knew that I needed to be home, because I would not have survived the school district with COVID. But I think back to when I was working, and I don't really remember people asking me about my vision for my life and my why. It was kind of like, you stepped into this job, you worked so hard to get your degree, you get into this job, you get your paycheck, you go home, and then you do life. And then you close up work, you go home, and you forget about it until the next day. Or nowadays, I feel like some people aren't even able to really get that time to forget about it. And that's when I realized I was getting burnt out in my job, when I was taking my work home, and it was draining me. So when you're asked to think about your why and your vision and what you want in your life, it can be a little uncomfortable and not really normal, because most of the time we're just so go that we don't sit and think, what do I truly want in my life? Like, what is it that gets me excited? And I want you guys to, before we start about this, we were talking a little bit earlier, me, Brooke, and Dana, and I love to kind of, I don't want to categorize us, but I feel like it's good to know that while we're doing these activities, we're all a little different. And I think some of us are going to be dreamers and some of us are going to be more thinkers. And Dana and I are like the perfect polar opposites, because I am such a dreamer. And I think you'll even see our vision boards a little bit later. But for me, I think big. Like when I'm dreaming and putting my vision board together, I'm thinking of like where I want to go. Like when I'm thinking about my ideal day, I'm thinking when my kids are like independent and I am like walking out and I see water and there's a beach. And I am just thinking about like the big long term when we pay all of our student debt off, like big picture. And then we have the thinkers, the people that are more logical, that need more short term tangible goals. Like maybe the thinking too big doesn't really motivate you to move. Maybe that's not exciting to you. But when you think about, if I could pay off my car that's, you know, $5,000 or maybe $10,000 this year, that is something that makes you move and gets you excited. So I feel like it's kind of cool because Dana and I are totally like, I'm the dreamer, she's like the thinker. And I think there's a really awesome place where whether you are, doesn't matter which one you are, like that's totally okay. We're going to go into step 3 after this to really take the dreamers and the thinkers, both of your goals, whatever it is, and reverse engineer them. Because whether you have the big goals of going on the big bougie vacations, or maybe your big goal is to have $200 extra a month to pay for your groceries. I mean, I'll be honest, I've had times where I just wish that, you know, I could go to the store and not be afraid to swipe my credit card, or I could just go take my kids to Sky Zone and not have to say, I'm so sorry, girls, we can only do this once a month because it's not in our budget. That can be your goal too. It has to mean something to you, and it has to create an emotional response. So when you guys are envisioning your why, you're envisioning your perfect day, you're envisioning what you want in life, I want you guys to start thinking about not just this business and making this business your why, but what can this business bring for you in your personal life, for your health and fitness. Maybe it is what you could wear. Like I honestly, I had to chuckle a little bit because when Dana's like, I'm not going to talk about what I wear. I literally, like when I envision myself, like with my dream body and getting my tummy tuck and stuff, I literally think about all the outfits that I'm going to wear and freaking rock once I rock these next couple programs and get my surgery. Like that's like how my brain goes. So like, maybe that's motivating to you. Some people it's not, some people it is. Whatever it is, it's got to create emotion in you. And if you're going through these activities and you're thinking about your why and you're creating this vision and it doesn't evoke some sort of emotion, you're not there yet. You need to keep going because your why needs to make you move. I used to always say in my first year, your why needs to make you cry because my why always made me cry and I'm just a crybaby. Which is great. It can make you cry if it starts to provoke that much emotion. But if it's not making you get down and dirty and do the work to get to that why, then you need to dig a little deeper and you need to keep going. So, I told you, I'll like get all over the place. That's why I have to keep looking at this picture to keep me on track. So you're connecting your emotions to your why. You're thinking about it. I want to see in the chat too. I want to see you guys start talking about like what you want in your life. Like I'm going to give an example because I want to see you guys blow this thing up. Like if I were to take a magic wand, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this from other coaches before, but I've heard it a couple times. I'm going to be a little fairy godmother now, and I can give you whatever you want by the end of this year. And there are no barriers. Think again. No financial barriers, no, things that you have to do. I am literally like genie in a bottle coming to you, like granting you your one wish for the year. Like, what would it be? And I want to see people type it. Like everybody. If you don't know how to type, we can help you. My house paid for, debt-free. That's so awesome. That evokes emotion is having time to dig into my son's needs and advocate for him. Vehicles paid off. My dream wedding. A long tropical trip with my hubby for our 10-year. Hello, that sounds fun. My kids here every morning with me and the kids. Pay car off. Debt-free. House paid for. Money for extra vacation. Moved to my dream apartment. Oh my gosh, you guys, keep going! And paid for. I want to plan a surprise trip. Dream home built. Done managing COVID at my job, not stressing over money. Daniel owning his own business and travel, debt-free, pay extra bills, leave my job, pay off more debt. Oh my gosh, like start thinking about that. What you guys are sharing in the chat after this call, start thinking about what that would do for your life. Like when you say pay off debt, what would that do? What would you do with your time and your money if you didn't have debt? Start going there, start envisioning that, and start living it and creating that. And every morning when you're creating these vision boards and you're thinking about it again and again and again, because as we know, repetitive thoughts become our actions. We are what we think, you guys. So if we're thinking negative, we become negative. And guess what? Negative thoughts are normal. They're actually super normal. We all get them. We are all scared. Things happen. That's another big thing. Life is going to happen this year, you guys. Curveballs are going to come. It's just the beginning. And I don't mean to kind of like stomp in the middle of this, but the thing is, this is why having a strong why and a strong vision is so important, and why you guys are doing this tonight. You need to do this every single day. You need to revisit your vision. This isn't an activity where you do it, you save it in Canva, you lose it, and you never see it again until December 31st, 2022. This is something that you need to put somewhere and you need to hold on to, and you need to grow and think about on a daily basis. What would debt-free mean to you? What would paying off your home mean to you? What would more time with your kids mean to you? And how are you going to get there? And that part I know can get really scary, because that's where our brain is naturally like, we're going to stop, because then we start thinking big and we get all emotional and you're like, oh, it's not going to happen. I might as well just go back and do what I used to doing. But you guys, it can happen. I have seen it happen. I know Brooke has seen it. I know Dana has seen it. I know other leaders on here have seen other leaders follow their dreams. And I will tell you, 3 years ago, I would have never imagined that I would be where I'm at today. And I'm not where I want to be. I have big goals, but I know if I stay the course every single day and do a little something every single day and take a step every day, no matter what is going on in the outside, because the outside's going to keep going. The only thing that we can control is our actions, our output, and what we put in. And I firmly believe that if I do it every single day, I'm going to get there. I firmly believe that if you do it, that if you take action every single day, even during the craziness, whether it be little, whether it be massive action, if you are consistent and you are relentless and you don't give up, you will get to your why. It is not a matter of when or maybe or could it happen. No, I said that wrong. It's not a matter of if. It's not a matter of if. It's not, this would be nice. No, it would only be a matter of when. Whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years. The pace is up to you. But if you keep going, don't give up, it will happen. All right. Brecky, I'm going to pass it over to you, because we're going to talk about some more of the tactical things that you guys can walk away with as you're creating your visions. And now you're kind of like, okay, I've got this vision of being debt free, of paying off my home. I know what that feels like. It feels good. Where do I go with this?
Man.
So I'm going to stop talking.
Oh, so cool. I loved seeing all those things come in. And they said, you know, some of them are glamorous things. Some of them are just like real life things that would take so much stress and anxiety out of your life. And I truly, truly believe, at least for myself, and I know a lot of us in here, that all the things that we're going to be putting on these vision boards and we've been thinking in our heads, coaching can help with it. Because like, and if you're like, oh no, well, this is what I have to do. No, like coaching helps you, one, work on yourself. You guys know that. Like that's our number one job as coaches. It's allowing us to work on ourselves, impact everyone around us, to, you know, pay off that debt. It allows us to work on ourselves so we can, you know, whatever that big goal is that you have on there. If you're not working on yourself, you're not going to be achieving any of those things. But then it also makes you help other people. It makes you get out of your little bubble of this is what I want in my life and look so much bigger at the whole world. So I just want to like show you with these visions and with these goals how it is so intertwined with coaching because of the way that coaching is our number one job, that we have to be servant leaders to do this. It affects every single area of your vision board. So I'm going to be talking about kind of the less like dreamy, pretty stuff. Like, what kind of things do you guys need to be doing this year? What kind of goals do you need to be setting to reach some of those vision board items? So make sure you're muted too. I kind of hear a little background noise and I just know that can be distracting. So if you're like, and maybe you're a brand new coach and maybe you're like, I don't know, what do I need to do? Like, do I just need to go Emerald and I'm going to be starting making the big bucks, or maybe Diamond, and then I can quit my job and everything's, trips and this and that. And, what do you need to do? So I'm going to give you some practical things that you really need to think about and maybe start talking to your coach about of what you want out of this business. Okay. So business goals. First one is Diamond. If you are not a Diamond coach, or maybe you've hit Diamond and you have fallen out, that is the number one stepping stone to everything. It's the number one stepping stone of having that team, because to be a Diamond coach, you need 12 people below you, right? You have 4, most of us know that you have 4 coaches on each side, and then you have 2 Emeralds, 1 Emerald on each side, and you are a Diamond coach. Right there, you have 12 people below you, and you are their leader. You are their team leader. It also means you're cycle bonusing at $18, which is a big deal. Trust me. Like, I remember my paychecks when I was kind of teetering back and forth between like Diamond, Emerald, Ruby. They were really big difference when I was holding Diamond that week compared to when I was an Emerald coach that week. Those extra $4 of team cycle bonus makes a difference. So if you are not a Diamond coach yet, if you've been a Diamond coach and you've fallen out, that is your number one goal with this. Doesn't matter where you are in your business. If you're like, hey, I just want to earn extra $200 every month, get to Diamond. That's the number one thing that will help. It doesn't matter if you have a big goal, a small goal, or whatever it'll be. Okay, Diamond. 2-star. So what is, maybe you've heard or you've seen girls talk about 2-star Diamond. That means you have 2 diamonds underneath you. Now that means you have 2 leaders who you have taught, you went Diamond, and you've taught 2 other people how to go Diamond. What that does for you, it allows you to open up. Another business center, and I always like to explain it like Chick-fil-A. Like when Chick-fil-A or whatever restaurant, like when a restaurant is doing good, when they're thriving in an area, what does that restaurant chain do? They open up another one close by, because that one can only handle so far. And that's what Beachbody allows us to do. When we get to 2-star Diamond, that means our business is flourishing. We're growing leaders. And what they allow us to do is they allow us to open up another business center somewhere in our organization that just catapults your income and your whole entire team. So if you are someone who's like, hey, I do want to maybe replace my income, or I am someone who wants to bring in an extra $1,000, $2,000, whatever it may be, dollars a month, 2-star Diamond is where you need to set your eyes. Not only is the volume and the cycle bonus going to be huge, but every quarter you're going to be getting at least around $1,000 bonus, which is very helpful. And then 5-star Diamond. Okay. And I believe that we have so many potentials for 5-star Diamond this year. Like talking to so many of you as we're going into the new year, sometimes that can seem so far off. That is essentially 3 people that you are helping to get to Diamond, and you have your second business center and you have your spouse's second business center. And you could be a 5-star Diamond team. And what that does for you, I know when like I was shooting to go like totally replace my income and all of those things, building really, really deep, that's exactly what 5-star did. It helped really build that deep volume. You get a $3,000 to $5,000 bonus each quarter, and it helps your team go to elite, which is a huge, huge goal to strive for each year, and just like solidifies that growth, that your team is there. You're not going to, not show up for a week and everyone's going to crumble. Like, your people are there. They're not going anywhere. They're legit. And you guys are a solid unit and a solid team. Okay. So those are just some things to think about. There's also the road to elite, where there's team builder, team leader, premier, elite. We'll be talking about a lot of those things in the team page and what they mean. And of course, like, maybe it's to earn XYZ a week. So I'm just trying to give you guys ideas of business goals that you can put on those vision boards. And then here's some examples. Brooke and Dana both have made theirs. Brooke, do you want to say anything about your vision board?
I'm like blowing up the chat. Sorry. Yeah, again, I'm a dreamer. Like, this is definitely how my brain operates, and how I create my vision boards is I really need to think about big long term where I'm heading, so I can be smarter with my time in a day. Like, so I have on separate pieces of paper what my milestone markers are to get to these goals. Cause I will be honest, like, I went into, because I don't know, maybe you guys can put in the chat too. How many of you here are terrified to set goals? I know Brooke just gave us a ton of amazing goals, but you're sitting here like, yeah, but ugh. Again, super normal. Even putting this down, like, for me, like, it made me want to vomit a little bit in my mouth, but it gets me thinking, and I start to become creative on, okay, what do I need to do now to get there? Who do I need to become to get to this goal, to get to, even my tummy tuck, for an example. Like, that's like something that's like a huge goal of mine. And it's also going to cost us a pretty penny on top of a house and everything else. So, what do I need to do to get there? Who do I need to become? Like, what do I need to save? I can't just spend money like frivolously, which is something I really like. But even for those of you that are looking at like rank goals and setting rank goals, I just want to normalize that it's okay to be scared and not know exactly what you're going to do today to get there. As long as you are committed to the journey and the process and figuring it out, that's what's important. And also having joy in the journey. I think that is something that I learned last year for sure, because I walked into 2021 guns a-blazing. I was like, I'm going to be elite. I've got all these girls. They're all going to go diamond. It's going to be great. I even paid to do a super weekend thing in Milwaukee, thinking like everyone's going to be so excited to go diamond after this. And you want to know what happened? All my girls quit. Every person that I was banking on to be diamond last year ended up quitting at some point. And I was the only person left. I wasn't even 2-star. And I became so depressed. I also had a baby last year, and I had a lot of postpartum depression and mental health stuff going on too. But I felt worthless. I felt like, who was I to even be putting a vision board together with anything if I can't even grow any leaders? Like, I just need to go back, go to social work. It's easy. It's what I know. It'll be a consistent paycheck. Like, I am just not meant to do this. And I had a switch. I went to therapy. If you guys are going through any mental health stuff, you can always reach out to me, because there's a big difference between mental health and mindset. So I went to therapy and I figured my crap out. And the second thing I did is I really reflected, and I kind of took myself out of it. I was being very selfish. I was thinking about me. I was thinking about where I wanted to go and what I needed. And I put myself in a position where we were desperate for finances. And I'm like, I gotta figure all these pieces out. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that. Like, oh, I gotta get this challenge pack. I gotta get this. Like, I need to get this person to buy. We don't need to get anybody to do anything. There are things that are in our control. And when you let go of that, when you let go of the outcome, you have the outcome, you plan for it, you strategize. But when you focus more on your effort, helping other people, like Brooke said, and thank you so much, Brooke, for mentioning that, because it really is, when you guys are thinking about the people on the other end and you're thinking about falling in love with this journey that no matter what life brings you, you're going to keep coming back because it means something to you. And enjoying the process and enjoying reaching the benchmarks, that's where the difference maker is going to be. That's where I see the people in this business, on this team, but also outside of this team. Start getting to know people outside of this team. It's really cool because you see the people that are successful, the people you hear on the national wake up calls and stuff, like they really love their journey. They love it. They're excited. They have energy. If you don't have energy, you're going nowhere. So sorry, I totally like got on that as
I
well.
love it. I could just sit back and listen to you all day.
I'm just so, last year was a big learning year. And I just want people to know too, like, it's okay to be scared. It's normal. If you don't hit it, who I'm sorry, who the F cares? You're going to be 10 steps closer if you try than if you're too scared to write it down on a piece of paper and do nothing. You might as well try, because now we're looking at our team back at the drawing board, looking at Elite again. And our team is way closer than they were a year ago. I'm in a better headspace. My mindset has shifted. Like there's so many other pieces and things that I have learned along the way. And that's the same for you guys too. You're going to make these goals. You're going to set them. And if you're afraid that it's not going to happen, just take that out of the equation. Know that you're learning the whole time. The worst thing that can happen is what? Just think about that. What is the worst thing that could happen?
So true. Thank you, Brookie. I love your board. It's beautiful.
Oh, goodness.
All of those things come true. I know. I just typed in the chat. It's not a matter of if, like you said, it's a matter of when, because you're not giving up and it's going to happen. Maybe
that's what I say. I'm like, I don't care when, but it's going to happen.
All right. So Dana, do you have anything you want to say about your board, Dana?
No, I don't really have much to say about my board. My board, honestly, a lot of it's the same stuff I put on there. And then I just put some tangible things that excited me. So maybe they weren't in my ideal day, like taking our family like to Disney or something like that. But I needed something that was exciting and fun and different for me. Yeah, I don't have much to say about my board.
Totally. I'm still working on my board, so I don't have it put together. But kind of like along the same thing as Dana's, like I have some practical things that I want to put down on that board for like our team and like for the kids and myself and Josh, but also like I was just talking to him and, you know, we kind of were thinking of a really big goal this next year is investing money. How fun does that sound? Like, it's like, I want to invest this amount of money because that means this can happen in 5 years. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's not going to make me want to get up early and do the business activity tracker. So I like, if your board, the things on your board don't make you excited, even though they're really good, don't feel like you got to put them on there just because like it's another thing you need to cross off the box. Like, yeah, investing this amount of money, or hey, I'm going to put a pool on my board because that would make me so excited. That is on my vision dream day one day of like my family chilling out by the pool, having team retreats by the pool, having neighbors over by the pool, like just like that kind of a thing. So just remember, whatever, it doesn't have to be all these practical things, like make things that make you giddy and excited too, and fun. Maybe the pool won't happen next year for me, but in a couple years, you bet I'm going to have a pool because I'm writing it down. I'm bringing life into it. I'm telling all you guys to do it. And I'm going to be showing up every single day, sharing this opportunity. Okay. I don't even know where I'm going next with all this. Okay. Here was my example board from 2 years ago. I think it was. That's all I had, but I'm not really going to talk about that. Okay. So step number 4 is breaking down the goals and reverse engineering them. This is actually, I think, Dana, something that you put together and that I had shared last year. So I'm like, hey, this is perfect because this is exactly what, you know, we should be doing. So let's say, hey, I want to go diamond. So she had 3 things that she wanted to do. She wanted to do Premier Coach. She wanted 2K a month, and she was wanting to do a sprint triathlon. That was that 2 years ago, last year. So she just broke it down into monthly goals. Okay, what needs to happen monthly to become a Premier Coach? What needs to happen weekly to become a Premier Coach? And what needs to happen daily. Like I love that monthly, weekly, daily. I know something that I've loved. These were actually my vision boards back in 2017 and 2019. I never did anything fancy on a Canva graphic. I literally just sat down at the beginning of every year with my like red notebook from junior high and wrote down, we will have countertops and sinks. We will have this. And like, those were such big things to us at the moment. And now like, they're still big things. So you just need to write it down and do it somewhere. And this is how I backtracked. I planned, okay, so I want these things right now. What needs to happen by the end of February? What kind of things do I need to be doing or have done by the end of February? Okay, what about by the end of March? What about by the end of April? So really backtracking your goals. And I know we're getting short on time. The best way, you guys, to track if you are doing the right things is right here. It is nothing fancy. There is nothing hiding that I am doing, that Dana's doing, that Brooke is doing, other than what is on this sheet right here. And if we are hitting Success Club. Those are the two best measurements of are you reaching those coaching goals? The Success Club activity tracker, if you've never seen this, it is on our cover photo. If you Google Beachbody activity tracker, it's gonna pop right up. If you go to the FAQs and Google activity tracker, it's gonna pop right up. This is the tracker that shows everything you need to be doing every single day. If you look at it and you do it, and if there's an area that you're not doing, that's a huge red flag of you're missing something very, very key to this business. It is nothing fancy beyond our journey, sharing our journey through social media, inviting to it, connecting with others, and getting them started and getting them their own results. So don't overcomplicate it. If you are like, I don't know what I'm missing, I don't know what's going on, where I've been coaching for 4 years and I'm still seeing nothing, look at this tracker and are you hitting Success Club? Are you adding 3 to 5 people every single month? Because when that happens, the compound effect happens. You start to build your team. You start to move forward. There's nothing special or fancy that anyone in this, even the number one coach in this business, the top 10 in this business, whatever coach you might look up to in this business is doing fancier than this right here. They've either just been doing it longer than you, or they do it a lot more than you, meaning they spend more time a day doing this right here. So don't think it's anything fancy other than this right here. Okay, I did just want to talk, I mean, we basically talked about it the whole call, grit and belief you can do this. And what I just shared is like, it's not a fancy thing every day, but what is going to make you wake up early or maybe stay up late and do that tracker, send those invites, post something vulnerable on social media, fill up your challenge group, hit SC5, hit SC10. What kind of things are going to make you do that? It comes down to that vision and that belief and what you are working for. Because if you don't know, then you're just going to be going around and around in circles. And it's the most exhausting game. I did it for the first 2 years of coaching. I knew what I wanted out of this, but I never said it. And my actions were not there. And that's an exhausting place to be. Start putting it out there to us, to your team, to your husband, to your spouse, or to whoever is out there. Start talking about it, and you will be so shocked how the actions will start to follow. All right, so applications. I want everyone right now, if you feel, no, not if, but I know we all kind of know, what is your number one puke goal for 2022? You drop it in the chat. Woo, I love that, Brittany. That's a big one. Oh, girl, you're going to get there. Number one puke goal. Love it, you guys. But I want to challenge you with, because if you're going to hit diamond, you're going to hit that in a couple months. Like you're going to hit that. And so even like think a little bit further, like what past diamond are you shooting for? Because you can hit that in a couple months, especially with Fire and Flow right around the corner, the gut protocol right around the corner, Joel's program, which we have no idea other than it's coming in July. That's right around the corner. This is the year, like Beachbody has laid it out for us. We all love Autumn, and not Autumn. Well, some of us love Autumn, but we all love Jericho and Elise and Joel. Like these are going to be and Autumn. These are, I forgot she was doing the 4-week protocol. These are going to be the easiest programs to share about and to promote and to keep people on board with. So take massive action if you have big goals. Don't be afraid to put those big goals out there because it is totally possible with what we have the year ahead. Okay, so your puke goal, make sure, like Dana said, write out that vision, work on this next week, or don't feel like you need to rush your vision board. Take time to put it together. Put it in your somewhere where you're going to see it every day. I know, Brooke, I saw you're putting it in your background of your computer. If you need to put it in your office, maybe you need to put it on the mirror in your bathroom or in your car or somewhere where you see it. This isn't something that we are just making now and then going to see in December of 2022, which is going to be here sooner than you realize. Look at it often and then make sure to share it with our team. The more that you talk about it, the more that you share it, the more you put it out to the universe, that is what's going to make you keep showing up and rising up. And then the last thing is to find teammates to run with. That I know for myself, I was alone in this business for a long time. I didn't have really those sister coaches next to me that wanted big things. And you guys have that. That is something that is super, super special. And something that if you just kind of let it go to waste, it will. But if you lean in, if you get them in a message chat, if you say, hey, let's run a sneak peek. Hey, I'm struggling in my challenge group. Do you have ideas? Hey, if you just start talking and give, then you're going to get so much in return. Okay, I know it's getting late. Does anybody or Brooke or Dana, do you guys have anything else you need to want to add in? Okay, anyone have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and stop recording.